Hey everybody, welcome to another video here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. This is the second cross club fan channel interview that we've done prior to a game. Did one with Kados before the Melbourne practice match, and I've got Anthony Alessiani with me today from the pair. Mate, welcome back.
Mate, it's good to be on Blue Abroad once again. It's an honour to be on, considering it's a massive game this week.
So it is a massive game, and we were just talking off camera. It's just part of my brain says, no, Port, they're losing connection. There's nothing, something's missing. They're missing their players. They're just not at their best. The other part of me says, they can't be 0-5. Like, they're too good to be 0-5. I'm really curious to know what the sentiment is on your end. Like, how are you feeling?
I'm a lot of concern. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of concern coming from me. It just feels like we don't have a chance of winning anything at all. I went into Melbourne last week thinking, big stage, we might actually pull something out, and that's how we'll respond against the Premiers. But that didn't come anywhere near close, and we were still waiting to kick a goal. So this week, I mean, anything can happen for us. We do have Alir back, Robbie Gray back, who both do like to enjoy playing Carlton. So it gives me some confidence. I don't know, though. At the G against the Blues outfit that are, besides last week's blip, I think are very, very good. So I guess we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, there's a few elements here. I'm going to unpack all of them with you. So let's start with Vossi. We'll start with, obviously, Vossi. He was with you guys for a while, did some incredible work. I remember reading the quote from Ollie Wines after he won the Brownlow about Vossi and his impact and whatnot. And I also remember, I think it was when you lost to Adelaide, maybe the week before. I remember Zach Butters talking about a quote about how you guys were lacking the connection. And Vossi's brought that same quote to us, and he wants a connected group. So
yeah.
Do you think that the Michael Voss departure from Port has had an impact?
Massively. I think massive. He was so underrated as an assistant under Ken. And the fact is we haven't replaced him. We've gone in-house. We've changed positions for certain assistant coaches, but we never actually replaced Michael Voss. And to lose someone of his caliber, the main thing that was based around his coaching techniques and how we were as a group was connection. Being around each other, especially during COVID times. Like, no wonder we were such a good football team for 2 years during a COVID time, is because Vossi was making sure we produced a connection that was able to stick together throughout, losses, big wins, little wins. We might not even play that well, but still get a win. But that was the connection that made us motivated to go out and actually win a game of football. And to lose Michael Voss and not replace him, it kind of does feel like we're a bit lost and a bit disconnected on the field. There's no real, connection when you're going forward or going back. It's just a bit of free-for-all. And you can see the impact Michael Voss has had on Carlton. He's just been absolutely sensational for you guys, and the way that connection is built. And we saw it round one. And we actually, I picked it up against the D's in that practice match. That connection of playing for each other, no matter the circumstance you're in, you're always going to be there, be together. And it's such a big loss for Port, but such a big gain for Carlton.
Yeah. The other thing about what I've noticed with us, in this new era, take away last week and maybe even the week before to an extent, but when we're playing good, we've added this layer of the handball surge forward. There's always an extra runner coming for the handball receive. It's very Port Adelaide. Like, it's very much Port Adelaide. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, 100%. Like, that used to be our go-to. That's how we played quick footy. And now we saw last week against the D's, I don't think we even went quick once. And we were just tipping it around like it was keepies off at training. Like we had a game plan going in against Melbourne, and I could see what we were trying to do. But one, it's not going to work when you don't have a key forward. And two, we just don't have the temperament to keep that going for 4 quarters. And when you don't kick goals, you fail at that.
Yeah. The inclusions for you guys, we're recording this on Friday Arvo before the final teams are confirmed, but you mentioned that Alir is going to play. How is he playing?
I don't know. the people at Port Adelaide, the injury guys are sensational. Like, that's the one positive is they managed to get our players back quick, healthy, 100%. Like, I'm still trying to get over the fact that Trent McKenzie played the week after he looked like he broke his leg into 600 different places. Like, it's absurd. So for Aaliyah to come back in is absolutely massive. And we're still waiting on the teams, as he said. But Scotty Lysette, dislocated a shoulder last week, and he's still named to play. Like, I've done shoulders, but you don't recover in a week. So I don't know what's happening, but it's mental.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously worried about Aaliyah for, as you mentioned before, obvious reasons. He plays well against us, and the thing about us is the thing that's crept back into our game in the last few weeks is teams have figured out take away the corridor. They've applied pressure to us and hunted us, and then when we're getting hunted, just lately we haven't been able to lower the eyes like we used to. And if we're going to be kicking it long and high, it's literally just going to fall into Aaliyah's hands every time, and that's the worry for me. But obviously, I think this time around, Charlie and Harry are back playing together, and that's exciting for us. Where do you see this game? How is it going to play out? How do you see it playing out?
Look, with no Paddy Cripps, I thought of maybe that might give us a hand, but then again, we're missing Ollie Wine. So that's like for like two great players out. So that's cancelling it out. I think it'll be if Port Adelaide can get goals on the board. That's as simple as that. If we can get goals out of Finlayson, Marshall and Georgiades, our tools, have somewhat of a chance of keeping Carlton under 70, 80 points, I think it's defensively, that's where we're going to win the game. Because we've been lacking in that area. Midfield, I don't have too much of a worry about. I think Boak's still going to be in there. We're going to have Butters. I think Rosie will fly through there this weekend. Houston's been pretty good this year. Willem Drew's been astronomical. So I think it's mainly defensively we're going to be trying to cut that surge off, cut that Port Adelaide footy that Carlton are playing off through that corridor. And if Port Adelaide can beat Port Adelaide at their own game, that's what I think is our best bet. But at the MCG, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect this to be an easy game at all. To be honest, before the season started, when I looked at our first 5 matches, I sort of, penciled this one down as a loss. I did not expect you guys to be as injured as you were. Obviously, you'd never expect that. I just feel like as you keep going without a win, you're only going to be closer towards your first win. And that coupled with the talent that you still have, coupled with, the pressure that Ken's under, that's probably the next part. I've read a little bit about Ken and he's under the pump and whatnot. What is the feeling from your end about Ken? Because I love him.
There's a lot of people not happy. There is a lot of fans that are really promoting the fact that he should be gone. Where I stand is he's probably on his last legs if this keeps going. There won't be any sacking anytime soon. I think it's just going to be we have to find a way to keep going, keep grinding and get a win on the board because it's the only way you're going to reduce that pressure is getting a win. But Kenny's running out of ideas, and I think it's with these injuries coupled with no momentum and the fact that, we've got teams that are improving like every time. Like you see, we come up against Carlton last year and it was serviceable, but we somehow managed to get the job done. This year, Carlton are, I think, one of the best teams in the comp in terms of when you're on. And then, you look into next week, got West Coast, and West Coast will all of a sudden have their full team back. So we just need a win. Tez, I think that's just the main thing we need to do is get a win. And for that to happen, Kenny's just going to have to do something drastic.
Yeah, it's fascinating, the landscape. When you look at it, I mean, even teams like the Dogs, they haven't really started the season very well. These are, I personally would have thought you guys and the Dogs would be top 4 teams still. So it just goes to show this unpredictability. You've got us. I mean, it's very early, but we look like we've improved. Collingwood look like they're going to be hanging around a little bit more than what everyone feels. I don't know. Like, is this like a shift in the competition? Is something going on, or do you think it's just going to even itself out again as we keep going?
Well, we always know in the start of seasons that teams kick off with such momentum and such hype that they believe in it, and then they get those big wins against teams you wouldn't think they'd beat. But then after 5, 6, 7 rounds, it starts to mellow out. The teams that are, Melbourne, I don't even think have gotten out of second gear. Like they've just been coasting through, and they, 4-0. They took their foot off the pedal at halfway through the third quarter last week against us. So they're cruising. I think the Dogs will come eventually. Us, I don't know. If we're not, I'll tell you this: like 2005, we were after round 6, 1 win, 1 draw, and 4 losses, and we ended up finishing 7th and made a semi-final. So it's not out of the woods. I did get sent a stat as well that there's only ever been 3 teams to go 0-4 and make the finals. The most recent one was Sydney in 2017. They went 0-6, ended up making the 8. And 2% of teams that go 0-4 make the finals. So we got to win.
Yeah. I want to ask also about Connor Rozee, because I'm a big fan of him and his talent. I just feel like we haven't yet seen him just take that step. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is just like an outsider's opinion. So where is Connor Rozee at? Because he's got everything you need.
He's nowhere. That's the problem. He's nowhere. Like, we've pumped him up as being this great small forward, and we saw in his first year was magnificent up forward. I think led our goal kicking. And then he's come into the 2020, 2021, been a bit injury plagued, so hasn't really had the momentum to kick off. Comes into this year having a full preseason, touted to be in the midfield majority of the time, and he's averaging 10 touches. Like, I don't understand the plan that we have for Connor. Like, we've seen Zach Butters, he's taken the next step.
Yeah.
Dersma's had a lot of injuries, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But then you got Connor Rozee, who's, as you said, got everything, and we're just playing him in that dreaded half-forward pocket type player that's not even having an impact on the game. If Connor Rozie's kicking 2 goals, having 15 touches, we're winning games of football. At the moment, he's having 10 touches and not even hitting the scoreboard. I don't think he's kicked a goal this year, actually. If I could be mistaken, but I don't think he's touched it yet.
I'll tell you when he's going to kick his next goal this Sunday.
Yeah, first goal of the game.
This is what we do. This is notoriously what we do at the Carlton Football Club. We put people on the map and we give people their breakout game. There's always one, and it's always the same type of forward. It's the Bailey Fritsch type. It's the like the athletic, small but medium, but like quick type. Last week it was Roses. Just on a silver platter, we seem to do it. So this is where my worry comes from. But I don't know. I'm scarred. That's the truth. I'm just scarred from the past. We're coming off less than 10 games ago when you beat us by 95. You kicked 19 goals in a row that game. And the bit of where I get confidence is that even last year when we were dysfunctional, when we had the bad losses, like the really bad ones where the fans lost their shit and it was disgusting, we always seem to bounce back from that. Now, last week, was it a disgusting loss? It was pretty bad compared to what we had shown in the first 3 weeks. So I'm hoping, this is their first chance on our end for the boys to show what it looks like under Voss when they respond. So there's that. I mean, yeah, I'm not confident, but I am, but I'm not. Like, I'm not. If you said to me, Port Adelaide win this week in a thriller, it's not like a reality where I'm surprised. It's not a total shock to me. I think that's where my worry comes from.
Yeah, and I guess you'd be worried too, because the guy that is coming in, Kilger in 2020, after the siren, is Robbie Gray, and he seems to have a fantastic record against Carlton. But him at his age, with his injury worries, does he worry you still?
Yeah, of course. It's Robbie Gray. He's smart. He probably doesn't have the same speed and burst that he had, 6-7 years ago. But I feel like even though he's a little older, he still knows how to cut angles. And when our defense is not really at its optimal right now, we're still trying to figure out I think Luke Parks is going to come in for his first game of the year. We've got Lewis Young, who's, he's going to play his third game. He looked a little bit uncertain of himself at times last week. So there's issues. We will definitely, I feel, struggle a little bit defensively with your height and these dynamic players. And that's why I mentioned Rosie, because I just feel like this could be the game where he just comes back into thing. But did you say he's going to play more midfield this week?
I have him touted to. I've heard that Dan Houston will take that role of Ollie Wines. It'll be like when Houston, like round 1 against Brisbane, that'll be the type of Houston we'll probably see. But I would love to see Connor take the opportunity to play midfield minutes. Like 75% of the game, throw him in the middle. Like, see what he can do. You're 0-4. Like, give it someone a chance.
I like the idea for you. I don't like the idea. I just don't want him playing. Give him a week off. So before I let you go, give me a score prediction and give me like a storyline that comes out of the game.
I'm going Port by 16, and Jeremy Finlayson finally arrives and bags 5.
Okay. I'm going to go with Carlton by 3 points in a thriller, and King Charlie just regains his throne at the MCG. Kicks 5.
All right. All right, that. All right. I just hope we kick a goal in the first quarter. That's all I hope for.
That'd be nice. Yeah, mate, it's a pleasure. I do appreciate your time. I will be there on Sunday. Looking forward to it. All the best for the rest of the year. Just not this week. Just have a week off and start your season next week, and we'll go from there.
Oh, thank you very much, Tez. Go the power, and happy Easter to all the Blue Abroad fans.
Thanks, mate.